Welcome, everybody, to Start, Sit, Different Day. It is week 14, the week before your fantasy football playoffs. The wins are crucial. It's now or never. We've got Fantasy J, Mr. Gator J himself. I've got Brandon Haye from FF League Winners, and we're going to be answering all of your week 14 Start, Sit questions. Stay tuned. You know, Jay, I'm going through and I'm reading your name, hence the Fantasy J, and I'm like, nope, that came off wrong. I didn't like that at all. So I had to course correct very quickly. You need to change your fucking Twitter handle because that shit sucks.
Well, I get multiple bots in my DMs, so you're probably correct.
See, look at that. Look at that. See, I am right. Just keep saying that, and you'll always have a good spot in my book. So.
Bots in your DMs? Is that what you want me to say more of?
No, I'm right.
Okay. The show is
Start, Sit, Different Day. That is Gator J from right here at Club Fantasy. And of course, today's guest, Mr. Brandon Haye from FF League Winners and DLF. Brandon, how you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's a little chilly this morning in Jacksonville, Florida.
It is definitely a little chilly, and I'm down here in St. Pete area, and I'm freezing my ass off. Florida woke up drunk this morning, and now it's cold, so I don't know what the fuck to do here. I don't get it. But before we get into anything, shout out Caesar. I love our subscribers. Super chats, all this good stuff. Become a member. No real perk to it, but you get all the fun shit that we do here at Club Fantasy. We like to prioritize our members, put their questions up first and all that good jazz. So if you are watching this video and you have not yet liked or subscribed, please do so now. We've crossed 1,350 subscribers. We're on our way up. Let's rock and roll. We love this shit. We're here to answer all of your week 14 start sit questions. Before we do any of that, I got to pay a few bills here and talk about our sister site, Women in Fantasy Football, and their partnership with Trophy Smack. Go to trophysmack.com/WOFF. That's WOFF. Get yourself championship belt, ring, trophy, wall smack to decorate your office, your kids' hallway, all that good stuff, whatever it is. Trophy Smack has it. Anything for achievement-based needs or just straight-up decoration. Dunk on your league mates. Championship season is right around the corner. We all know that you're getting ready to win because you've been listening to us for 13 weeks. And so get prepared to hoist those championships. So go to trophysmack.com/WOFF. That's WOFF and get all of your swag today. Don't wait. Do it today. All right, Gator. I don't think you have the injury list, so I'm going to go through and read it.
No, I do not.
Okay, good. So I guess I got to do it. See, this is where I usually kick it to Joe, and this is just weird because,
Well, if you'd have told me you needed an injury list, I would have pulled it. However, I do have to correct you on one thing though. Before you go on, you said there's no benefit to being a member, and there is absolutely a benefit to being a member. You get your comment to the front of the line. The only way you get in front of people like Caesar is with the super chat. That's the only way.
This is true.
So Caesar, props to you for being a member and always getting your comment on the screen before anybody else.
That he does. He's also one of the first to comment usually, which,
well,
plays into it as well. Not today, yeah.
Today.
Yeah, Jeff beat him today, so. All right, let's get into these injuries real quick, and then we will knock out all of these start sit questions. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Super chat's a great way to shoot to the top of the line. We love being able to support our content creators, and anything we can do to do that, all the better. So real quick, no quarterbacks on the injury list this week. That's good because 6 of them are on a bye, and we need all of them we can get, even the bad ones. At the running back position, Kendre Miller is questionable, which I don't know why I had him listed as out. Breece Hall is doubtful, so he's probably out. Raheem Mostert, Alexander Madison, both questionable. Zamir White is out. Bucky Irving, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift, all questionable. Roshan Johnson out. And, of course, Jordan Mason was put on IR, I believe, earlier this week. So he will be unavailable for the San Francisco 49ers. At the wide receiver position, Cedric Tillman and Saints wide receiver Bub Means are ruled out. Jalen Coker for the Panthers is doubtful. And a whole laundry list of questionables. Malik Neighbors, Jacoby Myers, Trey Palmer, George Pickens, DJ Moore, Keon Coleman, and Lad McConkey, all questionable. Tight end position, Dallas Goedert and Tyler Higbee are ruled out. Dalton Kincaid, Jatavian Sanders, both questionable. And I probably shouldn't, only because Joe's not here, but I'm going to anyway. Kickers, Will Reichard, the Minnesota kicker who's been on IR for a hot minute. He is questionable. So if you're hanging on to John Parker Romo, get prepared. That's why he has 0 projected points on Sleeper, because Reichard is most likely to play this week. All right. The dog's barking, so they're trying to tell us to get to these fucking questions. So that's what we're going to do. Brandon, you ready to answer some questions, buddy?
I'm ready to answer.
All right. We're going to start here with Jeff. He needs a wide receiver and a flex in a full PPR. You go in Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Calvin Ridley, or Dowdle.
So, I would probably for this, I would go Dowdle, definitely for the flex, because he's playing against the Bengals and he's the only one that you should have on the Cowboys running the ball. And then I would like to go Brian Thomas Jr., but with Matt Jones and the Titans defense being pretty good, I guess I'll go with Ridley here because the Jaguars secondary is god awful.
You're not wrong there. Jay. You're muted, Jay. Jay, unmute your microphone and then answer the question.
Why don't you unmute it for me? I
wouldn't let me.
Oh no, I'm sorry. For me, I'm with Brandon here. It's Dowdle and Ridley. When you look at what Ridley's done since I guess it's week 6, he's just been a target monster. It would be Jacoby Myers, depending on that questionable tag going up against Tampa. Tampa's allowed like the 5th most points to outside wide receivers over the last 4 weeks.
I'm going opposite of all y'all because I'm not touching Rico Dowdle when I have wide receivers this good. It's Ridley and Myers for me. Take the good matchups. Jacksonville's secondary sucks. Bucs secondary sucks. Cincinnati's run defense is actually pretty solid, and the way that you beat them is to throw on them. So I don't really see a point in Dowdle. I get the volume perspective, and if it were half PPR or standard, I'd roll with Dowdle, but it's full PPR. So I want the targets here, and that's Myers and Ridley, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have no issue with that. If you get tomorrow morning and Jacoby Myers is playing, throw him in there because Dowdle's.
I would pivot to Brian Thomas Jr. at that point. No L'Jarius Sneed. That Titans secondary is terrible. So, just saying, just my opinion. But
okay,
all right. Defense question. Hopefully, one of y'all can answer them or pulls up Ryan's rankings. But Steelers defense or the Saints defense this week. Brandon.
Who do the Saints play? They play the Giants, right? Yeah, the Giants.
Yes. Saints at Giants, and Steelers are home to the Browns.
See, it's hard because even though Jameis threw 2 picks on Monday night, the Broncos defense is pretty good, and they were able to throw the ball all over them. But I think the higher upside play is obviously the Steelers because of Jameis. So I guess I would lean with the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm looking at Ryan's rankings right now over there on Fantasy Pros, and he has the Steelers as the number 2 and the Saints as the number 4. You're looking at who they're playing. Both of them got the opportunity for interceptions, with Drew Lock as well. I can't remember what his nickname is now. But anyway, for the Giants. But For me, I guess it's going to be the Steelers, like Brandon just said. I mean, you got the opportunity for picks. Yes, we know Jameis is going to throw the ball all over the place, and the picks will be there.
I'm going to go Saints because the Giants' offensive line is dog shit, and Drew Lock can be had. And it actually feels like Malik Neighbors is trending towards not playing. And if that's the case, there's nobody to throw to in that Giants offense.
Ooh, that's nasty then.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
I believe,
all right.
Hang on one second, Josh, because I do believe that the Giants are getting one of their offensive linemen, their center back this week.
It doesn't matter.
You really think that that's going to make that big of a difference? Let's be real.
For
their offensive line, their offensive line is garbage.
For the running game, it will.
Okay. So Tyrone Tracy's still going to have a decent day. I mean,
which means the clock is the Saints.
They're not going to give him the ball 30 times, so I'm not that worried about it.
Come on. They need to give it to him 30 times. That's their only offensive player that's worth a damn.
I mean, they should, but Brian Dable has proven to be not a very smart head coach this year.
There's that.
All right, you going Kate Otten or TJ Hawkinson this week, Brandon?
Oh, this is another kind of tough one. I love Kate Otten, though. I know he kind of didn't have a great game last week when you kind of thought he would, but I think he'll bounce back this week.
As much as I want to say it's Kate Otten, I honestly think it's Hawk this week. Since Evans has been back over the last couple weeks, Otten has been a afterthought where he was getting multiple looks a game in the red zone. He's gotten 2, 1 in each game over the last 2 weeks. And tight ends right now, we've got to have the touchdown upside. I'd give me Hawk. He's getting way more opportunity than Otten is right now in that Bucs offense.
Yeah, I'm on the Hawkinson train as well. Kate Otten's still kind of running like third in target share in this offense now that Evans is back behind Sterling Shepard. And then, of course, you always have the running backs to deal with. Bucky seems to be taking over that passing down role, which is great for all of my Rachaad White hate. But it's still not enough to propel Kate Otten, even though I absolutely love this matchup for him. I think it's so good. But Hawkinson's just so involved in this offense that it's really hard to want to sit him. But I do want to give a special shout out to Brandon, because if I remember correctly, the last show that we had you on was one of our Stars of Tomorrow tight end preview shows, and you were pretty high on Kate Otten, and that's why I've always remembered that name. So this breakout, it's because of you, buddy. It's because of you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you remembered.
I want to add this real quick because, again, I'm looking at Ryan's rankings. Ryan has Kate Otten and TJ Hawkinson right next to each other. So, of course, right?
I hate when that happens. Like when I look at rankings,
because you always pick wrong, right?
I'm like, this doesn't help me at all. Like,
yeah, right.
Ugh.
All right. From Caesar, he picked up the Baltimore D for next week's playoff matchup, which I may not make it into. Well, that's not. We got to have some positive vibes here, Caesar.
Right.
Would you drop them to pick up Estime? It's a deep bench dynasty. I may still have a good waiver priority to pick them back up. I mean, Estime should already be rostered in dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Let's talk to Mr. Dynasty over there. Brandon, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I'm gonna open with this. I am not a big fan of Estime. I think he's an average player, and I think Sean Payton is an idiot because he doesn't run Javonte Williams more. But even because of that, I don't trust the Baltimore Ravens defense. So, I mean, I'd probably, there's a chance that Estime does more, and I just don't trust that Baltimore defense. They're so up and down.
Jay.
Man, look, we're playing fantasy to get into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And at this point in the fantasy season, your running back stashes are definite must. And so I would be absolutely, maybe I get Baltimore back, but I'm worried about trying to get into the playoffs. And if Caesar's worried about getting into the playoffs, then you answered your own question here. It's drop Baltimore, go get Estime.
Yeah, I tend not to I actually do have a dynasty league where we play defenses. I only roster like 3 of them, and I just kind of play the streaming game with them. Some weeks I'm going to eat a bad one because they all 3 have bad matchups. But I would like to think that, if you absolutely needed to, you could probably pivot to a different defense, whether it's one that's on your bench or one that's on waivers. I don't think Estimate is going to break any barriers or anything this year, but I would much rather have the RB depth just in case, because you never know what would happen. Not like they're using Javonte enough to get hurt anyway, but still. Pick up the running back. If you can get Baltimore back, great. If not, it's not the end of the world, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. All right, start 1 STD. Gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes. No, just kidding. Braylon Allen, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, Jalen Waddle in a standard scoring league. Brandon.
You said Breece Hall hasn't technically been ruled out, right?
He's doubtful, but I think there's only been since they moved to the new variations of like the questionable, doubtful, out, and all that stuff. There's only been 1 player that's actually played after being ruled doubtful before a week.
Yeah, I think this one's actually pretty easy, even for Braylon Allen, especially in standard, because Amari Cooper has done very little. We don't know what we're getting with Miami with Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith. I just don't think there's that much like upside with them running the ball with Saquon and AJ Brown being there. So I would go with Braylon Allen because that Jets passing game is not very good, and they need to just pound the rock and I guess save Aaron Rodgers for next year or whatever they're doing.
Jay.
Yeah, I know this is standard, and I know this is completely against everything this channel is about, but I think it's Waddle for me this week going up against the Jet.
And you're fired. We don't do Jalen Waddle love around here.
Oh, that was great.
Try again, Jay.
I think for this week, it's going to be Braylon Allen. No, I mean, we look at what we saw last week with Waddle. I believe this week is going to be a huge week for Waddle going up against that Jets D. They have given up, what is it, 8? I want to say it's 7 or 8 weeks of the number 1 wide receiver they've covered very well, but that number 2 has just gone ape shit crazy on them. So yeah, give me Waddle this week for this particular question. Caesar, it may not be Waddle for the rest of the show.
It's Braylon Allen. It's standard. You always go with the running backs. I would never trust Jalen Waddle because the right answer is Jonnu Smith anyway. So 2
touchdown game incoming for Jalen Waddle, by the way.
You mean for Jonnu Smith? It's okay. We know the Jays get a little mixed up. It is what it is. All right. From FBTP78, RIP my CMC Breece Hall team. Man, that hurts, dude. I'm sorry. So you going with Gus Edwards this week or Tajay Spears, who's done next to nothing all season? Brandon. How can we get this guy out of the hole and salvage this season?
This is because I thought Gus Edwards would do something last week and he didn't, but Tajay Spears has done nothing all season. Yeah. So I guess you got to go with Gus Edwards because they like to run the ball. Really, you're hoping he's the one that scores a rushing touchdown. I mean, because he doesn't really catch the ball. And yeah, but I would go with Gus Edwards because Tajay Spears is getting very little work in that offense, which is crazy because, everyone was hyping him up before the season and he's done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Tajay Spears was the hype train in Tennessee, but there's not been anything to go with it. So yeah, Gus Edwards here, and like Brandon said, you're crossing your fingers, crossing your toes, crossing your legs, and hoping for that touchdown.
Yeah, Gus Edwards here as well. I hate this matchup for him. Casey's been a pretty solid run defense, but Tajay Spears, it's been the Tony Pollard show in Tennessee. So just say a prayer and hope for the best with Gus. All right, from Chris, PPR needs to sit a wide receiver this week. You go in Juwan Jennings, Marvin Harrison Jr. against Seattle, or Keenan Allen at San Francisco. And we'll answer the QB question next. Who are you sitting, Brandon?
I guess I'm sitting Jawan Jennings. I mean, because Keenan Allen seems to be the wide receiver that's getting the most targets right now. I kind of like all three though, but if I had to set one, I guess it would be Jawan Jennings.
What has Marvin Harrison Jr. done this year outside of catch one touchdown late in the game? And I understand it's fantasy. We like the touchdown, even if it's late in the game. But that Arizona offense is filtering directly through the tight end position. I'm sitting Marvin Harrison Jr. here against Seattle. I don't like the matchup. They play the most too high, and that's taken him out of the game. It took him out in week 12. So, yeah, I'm sitting Marvin Harrison Jr. here.
I'll see your what has Marvin Harrison Jr. done and raise you what the fuck has San Francisco's offense done without Trent Williams at offensive tackle. Because that right there is the answer to the question. You're sitting Jawan Jennings. That San Francisco offense without Trent Williams does not know how to operate. They can't tell their left foot from the right foot. They literally cannot do anything. So Brock Purdy is pointless. He can't throw the football. Doesn't know where his reads are. He's like a blind child walking without a hand to hold.
So you're saying if Brock Purdy doesn't have like 12 different weapons, he's not a top 5 quarterback like everyone was saying?
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm being very snarky on this.
It's okay. It's okay. Look, say what you want about the weapons. Like, that's fine. But it's Trent Williams. That's the thing. Without Trent Williams, Brock Purdy, this whole entire offense can't function. From Kyle Shanahan to Purdy to the running backs, wide receivers, all of it. Like, I've never seen anything like this because this is a subpar offensive line. Even with Trent Williams, he's just so damn good that he raises the bar for everybody. But Josh, take him out of the equation, they don't know what to do.
I was going to ask you, have you ever seen one man on an offensive line destroy the value of every other player on the field?
Never. Not like this. It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane.
Next part of this question. You going Stafford against Buffalo or Will Levis against the Jags? Brandon.
You know what's funny is we do a betting article for league winners. We always pick 3 games and then 2 props. And one of my props is actually for Will Levis. I mean, I say I hate this because I think Will Levis is horrible, but the Jaguars defense is horrible. He's actually been playing a lot better since he's a starter again. I mean, in terms of just fantasy, he's had over like 275 yards 2 of the last 3 games. And the Jags just give up way too many yards. And Stafford hasn't been great this year. He's not throwing a ton of touchdowns. And against that Bills defense, I don't really trust it.
Man, I tell you what, this is so bad because I have Stafford in a couple leagues and I have to start him because, well, T-Law is the other quarterback that I have in that league. And, well, he's not there. And I liked Levis going into the year. It's whatever. This call for me, though, is going up against the Jags. And, Brandon, I'm sorry about your hometown team here, but it's Will Levis. When he's throwing 85% quarterback rating in 4 straight games, he had 1 game like that last year, but he's done it 4 times this year, back to back to back to back. Calvin Ridley is off on a whole nother world since week 8. And some guy, Nick Westbrook-Ikine, I know we've talked about this.
8 games, baby.
40% of his catches result in a touchdown. For me, it's got to be Levis in this in between these two.
As long as Stafford has Puka and Cooper Kupp, it's Stafford for me. I'm not going to trust Levis, even in a cake matchup. Even when the Philly defense came to LA, he still managed to throw 2 touchdown passes. And Buffalo's not even that good. So I'm going to take Stafford at home. My personal opinion. All right. We got a super chat from Adrian. 10-team, half PPR. Let's help him set his lineup because he got the Jaden Reed goose egg. Let's go with the running back first. You going Chuba Hubbard or Isaac Orendo? Pick one, Brandon.
I have to go Garendo. I think he's going to get the most carries, and Chuba's kind of come back to earth a little bit the past few weeks, and against that Eagles rush defense. I don't really love that. And then 2 wide receivers out of that, right? I mean the targets are there for Puka because Cooper Kupp is like nothing, does very little anymore. So I guess Puka and I guess DK Metcalf for me because I don't really trust. I mean, Neighbors, even when he plays, the quarterback is so awful. And we talked about Jennings, and I don't really trust Thielen against that Eagles defense either.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you on Garendo. Hubbard's got such a bad matchup, and I know, like Josh was saying a minute ago, with no Trent Williams, it's going to be a rough go there in San Francisco. But out of these two, I think it's Garendo. I've actually got a prop that Hubbard doesn't even get 50 yards this week going up against Philly. For the 2 wide receivers, I think it's Puka and Metcalf are donks. And because you got the goose egg with Reed, I would try to do upside right here, and I would go get Nick Westbrook-Akine over Thielen.
Yeah, I'm going all upside here with the Reed goose egg. I don't love really either of the matchups for Hubbard or Garendo. I literally just waxed poetic about San Francisco offense not doing shit without Trent Williams. But Garendo's speed is going to allow him the opportunity to break long runs, which we've already seen this year. Hubbard doesn't really have that in his repertoire. So I'm going to lean Garendo for the upside. With the wide receivers, it's Puka, Metcalf. It's not close for me. And I would 1,000% drop Adam Thielen to pick up Nick Westbrook-Akine and throw him in my flex for hopefully a long touchdown. Again, Jags defense is terrible. Nick Westbrook-Akine has scored 8 touchdowns in the last 8 games, and I will not be shocked if he scores not 1 but 2 touchdowns this week, getting behind that Jags defense. Sorry, Brandon.
Hey, I want the better draft pick. Winning now doesn't make any sense. I'm fine with the loss.
This is true. All right, Adrian, appreciate the super chat, buddy. For everybody else, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. You want your question shot straight to the top, those super chats in. All right, from George. He's got 2 questions. He needs a flex and a full PPR. He got a dud from Jaden Reed. This is going to be a common theme today, I'm seeing. Would you go Garendo, Jennings, Tyrone Tracy, or Nick Westbrook-Akine in a full PPR? Brandon.
I would probably go Westbrook-Akine. And then after that, for me, it's between him and Tracy because I think Tracy will get the catches, and we've kind of talked about the other guys.
Yeah, I think we just kind of answered this one here. It's Nick Westbrook-Akine with the Jaden Reed dud. Man, that's what it is. You're hoping for what 6 for 90 and a touchdown, or 3 for Nick Westbrook-Akine.
I mean, you're not going to get 6 for 90, but you can get 2 for 115 and 2 touchdowns.
I have a feeling that Tennessee is going to be on the field a good bit.
Yeah, but the volume goes to Ridley. It's the deep shots that go to Westbrook-Akine. So
that's true. He did get a couple. He did get one or 2 games this year where he's gotten 3 of the last 5 games, or 3 of the last 6 games, he's gotten at least 6 targets. So he hasn't caught all 6 by no means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he actually, I just wrote about this. Oh, I was doing the Jags like preview, and yeah, he has like 22 targets in the last 4 games, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have that many catches, so even though he gets all those targets, he doesn't necessarily make that into catches. But I mean, like I said, the only good corner on Jacksonville right now, I think, is Tyson Campbell, and he's up and down. The other guys are just toast. Safeties are horrible. Linebackers can't cover. Everything's shitty on this team other than Brian Thomas Jr. So, and we have a good kicker and Brian Thomas Jr. That's it.
Yeah, that's the superstar winning lineup right there.
They play in London a lot. They do everything backwards.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because of the Jaden Reed dud, I'm going to shoot for the upside with Westbrook Akine. Otherwise, this would be Tyrone Tracy for me. The second part of this question, it's a full PPR. He can play 2. I don't know why Mike Evans would sit, but
you got Terry McLaurin is on a bye week this week.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about him. So it's Garrett Wilson, Jacoby Myers, Mike Evans. So sit one out of these 3. For me, it's Garrett Wilson, Brandon.
Yeah, I hate that it's him because I think he's so talented, but I don't even know what the Jets are doing anymore. Like, I don't understand how you have him and Devontae Adams and you can't consistently move the ball. It just boggles my mind.
We have found out that Aaron Rodgers is not a front office guy or a head coach. So there is that what we have found out this year about at least the Aaron Rodgers side of things. But Garrett Wilson is so talented. And for some reason, this is a ghost when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, it's Mike Evans and it's Jacoby Myers out of these guys.
Yeah, you're sitting Garrett Wilson here. And McLaurin, again, he's on a bye, so don't worry about that. All right, from Joe, he went against Jaden Reed and Sam Laporta. Here's his starting lineup. Josh Allen, David Montgomery, James Cook, Calvin Ridley, Khalil Shakir, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Cade Otton, and Chase McLaughlin, and the Tampa D. How are we feeling? You think he can pull it out? Seeing as they only got 10 points out of those 2 guys, his opponent did? I don't know what the rest of your opponent's team is, but
yeah, I think I would like that.
Yeah,
Monty had 19 fantasy points. Everybody else should be pretty solid.
He's got to be feeling good at least. At least he's in the driver's seat going into Sunday morning.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. All right, Anthony, do I keep Kyler Murray or Bo Nix for the playoffs? Can't keep both. Who you siding with, Brandon?
I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe it. But I think you got to go with Bo Nix. I hate myself for this because I still don't think he's as good as everyone's making him out to be. But I mean, you can't deny what he's doing. And Kyler, always has the running, but he ain't passing for shit. I know because I have to play him in a bunch of leagues because I thought he was going to go off this year. That passing offense just, if it's not the Trey McBride, it's not very good.
Nope.
So and they usually run the ball when they get close. So yeah, I hate myself for saying this, but yeah, I would have to go with Bo Nix.
I want to remind you, Brandon, that Bo Nix also knows how to run the football and has done pretty well running the football.
He does.
Jay.
Yeah, I just looking at the matchups here. The Arizona playoff matchup is absolute juicy as it gets. It's New England at Carolina, and then of course week 17 at the Rams. But then you look at what Denver has. They've got Indy at the Chargers in week 16, and then it's at Cincinnati. It's a great question, but I'm gonna lean Bo Nix because Kyler Murray is just not doing what he's supposed to be doing, and Bo Nix is shown that he can do it both with his feet and his arm, and he very much like Jameis Winston. Fuck it, Marvin Mims is out there somewhere.
But that's the thing with fantasy because it's 2 separate things. As we saw with Blake Bortles, that his second year, the Jags were horrible, but he put up huge numbers. Not that I know that the Broncos are winning, but watching that Monday night game, there's a bunch of throws Bo Nix was like, let me throw it across the field, and one of these guys is open. I mean, it worked. And like
some completely bad throws, like crossbody, middle of the field.
But think of it this way. In fantasy, at least, you throw an interception, it's only -2.
Correct.
And you're going to think about if you throw interceptions, you're probably going to be down, so you're going to be throwing it more. So fantasy wise, it's not as big of a detriment as regular football wise.
Yeah, it's
Bo
a
Nix for me.
mix.
Yeah, it's not even a question, in all honesty. You'll need Murray for this week, but it's Bo Nix. All right, Caesar took a nod from the Sneaky Girls and benched
Hashtag
Jordan
nailed
Love
it.
in favor of Baker Mayfield. The question begs, do you still want to roll with Baker or pivot to Caleb Williams? Caesar, I'm going to correct you because Baker actually plays the Raiders this week and not the Panthers. Do you like Caleb Williams or Baker Mayfield this week, Brandon?
I would say Baker, but I will say this: I didn't play Caleb last week, and it really screwed me because he had a huge game. Yeah, I would go with Baker because I don't know what's with the coaching change with Chicago and with the playing the 49ers, you got to think they're going to draw something up to confuse the rookie. And yeah,
I think
I
that's
gotta
giving
go
that terrible defense more credit than they deserve.
I know. You got to figure like eventually they have to like stand up and be like, we've got to do something. So
they've already
I'm
thrown
going
in the
Baker.
towel on this season. Jay.
Yeah, I'm just looking up Baker's stats from last week, 33 attempts, and I think that's going to continue. They're going to do everything they can to try to get Mike Evans that 1,000-yard season. And I think they're going to be able to. They're going to get. If they don't get it, they're going to get really freaking close. I'm rolling with Baker. The Caleb is so roller coaster right now. Have no clue what's going on. It sounds like DJ Moore is questionable as well. So that takes away. Yeah, give me Baker all day.
Yeah, it's Baker for me. The Raiders, since week 9, are allowing almost 3 passing touchdowns per game. Yes, you can run on the Raiders, but you beat them by passing, and that's what Baker loves to do, sling it. So I would stick with Baker. All right, from Jason. Flex question in a standard league. You go in the running back at Chuba Hubbard or the wide receiver, Jordan Addison? Brandon.
I mean, we kind of talked about Chuba before. I know Addison didn't have a great game last week, but I don't think the Falcons really scare you defensively. So I would go with, but it is standard. Yeah, I'd still go with Addison.
Jay.
I'm having a hard time. I traded for Addison in a dynasty league, and it's just been a roller coaster outside of the 1 week against week 12. But I kind of go back to what you said earlier, right? It's in a standard. It's always the running back, even though I hate this matchup. Think I'm going to go Chuba here.
It's Addison for me. The Falcons secondary has started to be exposing itself, and they're going to do what they can to slow down Justin Jefferson, which is going to leave Addison with a lot of one-on-one looks. I think he can very easily get 15 a touchdown, where I don't even think Chuba can get 50 yards against that Philly front seven. So give me Jordan Addison here.
I agree with the yardage. I'm just wondering if Chuba can get into the end zone, and that's in the standard. That's what I'm looking for here. Addison, I just don't know that he's going to get the volume to get in the end zone.
Yeah. All right, from Juan, he needs a wide receiver 2, an RB2, and a flex. He's got Justin Jefferson as his wide receiver 1, Kieran Williams as his RB1. His bench right now, he's looking at Juwan Jennings, Xavier Worthy, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney, Westbrook Akine, Kenneth Walker, who's highly questionable, Zach Charbonnet, Breece Hall, who likely is not playing. So let's see. Your wide receiver 1 and a flex. Brandon, how would you fill out this lineup pairing with Justin Jefferson and Kieran Williams?
Yeah, so I think we keep on saying it's crazy how many questions have Westbrook Akine, Mm-hmm. So yes. He plays the Jags. Yes. Running back, I mean, you're playing, I guess, whoever the healthiest running back for Seattle is. I mean, that's your only option.
That's the correct answer.
Because Breece Hall, what's going to suck if they both play, because you don't know. But if they both play, I'm still going with Kenneth Walker, even though Charbonnet got the touchdown last week. But yeah, it kind of seems like they kind of do a hot hand type of thing too, which I hate all these teams doing it. So it's because it's so arbitrary. But yeah, and you really don't have a choice because Breece Hall is most likely not going to play. So you have to go with one of those Seattle backs.
Yeah, it's of course Ken Walker if he plays for me. Of course, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Jacoby Myers.
Oh yeah, I forgot the flex part, but yeah, I agree with Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, it's Myers, Westbrook-Akine is your wide receiver 2 flex, and then it's the healthy Seattle running back, whether it's Walker or Charbonnet. I think that's pretty easy. I'm not even if by some miraculous scenario Breece Hall actually plays, I'm not playing him. Not coming off a doubtful tag. You got me fucked up with that.
No, and he looked crap last week as well.
Yeah, he didn't look good at all. Another one from one. Would you pick up Travis Homer off waivers? Roshan's out. DeAndre Swift is questionable. They still have Alexander Madison, Kareem Hunt, Trey Tucker, or Tucker Kraft on waivers. Kraft has already played, so you're going to have to wait till next cycle for him. Brandon, how would you approach this?
I mean, Hunt's. I don't really know how that Kansas City running back situation is going to go. The more Pacheco plays, because I think it's clearly he's more explosive. Man, I would not trust Travis Homer. I just he's never been in like a main back role. So really, you're just hoping for a big play from him because he's kind of that guy. And for the Raiders, McCormick played pretty well last week, so I think he's going to be involved. So I guess I would go Kareem Hunt. I don't feel great about anyone in this scenario.
Jay.
This sucks. Week 14, this sucks. Madison lives.
Lay it all out there for him, Jay.
Madison's questionable. Look, Abdullah got some run last week. Since
he had to, they didn't have any other.
Yeah, I know, and that's the question though. Is McCormick actually looked better than any other back that the Raiders have put out there? I like Trey Tucker this week going up against that horrible Bucs secondary. And I think that's where I would lean here. That's the healthy one out of it. I like Kareem Hunt, but Pacheco being back. So yeah, give me Trey Tucker out of this group over Travis Homer.
I mean, the correct answer for rest of season is Tucker Kraft, and I think
for sure
agree on that.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not worried about Travis Homer off waivers. I'm fine going Madison, truthfully. Bucs run defenses and all that. Kareem Hunt, I don't really want to trust, and Trey Tucker, he's good for like one big play. I'm not really sweating that. So, yeah, I mean, there's more consistent volume with Madison. Although I will say, with how well McCormick looked the last couple of weeks, how much that may hurt Madison's upside. I mean, you've got basically a bunch of wild cards here. I would much rather just kind of stick with the guy that I feel has a defined role, and that's Madison this week. Just my personal opinion. All right, from Austin, who would you flex in a full PPR? Okay, now this is really stretching it, buddy. Tyreek Hill or Isaac Orendo? Brandon.
Got to go with Tyreek Hill, even though
don't get too cute here.
They finally were able to get him the ball last week. And who does Miami play?
Jets.
Yeah, I'm not scared about that matchup at all. So yeah, you can't do that. I mean, even if it doesn't work out, like I've got to go with the better player in that scenario. So that's what I would go.
Yeah, that's the correct answer. Can you digest missing the playoffs if Tyreek Hill goes off on your bench?
Nope.
No. So it's Tyreek Hill.
It's Tyreek Hill. Don't get too cute, Austin. All right, Jay's gonna be right back. Quincy has. Let's help him set his lineup here. He's got Kieran Williams, Tyrone Tracy, Braylon Allen at running back. He's got to start two of those guys. CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, Darnell Mooney, Cooper Kupp, he's got to start at least 2 of those guys. And then out of all these, he needs 2 flex options. Brandon, let's help out Quincy. Where are you going here?
Okay, so for running back, definitely Kyron Williams. I'd go Braylon Allen, even if, especially if Brees Hall doesn't play, I would go Braylon Allen. Then wide receivers, I think kind of like with the Tyreek thing, I think you still have to go with CeeDee Lamb. And the other wide receiver, I don't know, because of the 49ers, we've talked about it. Like Debo hasn't done much lately. Kupp hasn't done much lately. I don't necessarily trust Kirk Cousins right now with Darnell Mooney. So, yeah, definitely Lamb. And I guess the thought, at least for me, is without CMC, and Mason, they're probably going to get Debo more involved in the running game. So I guess CD and Debo, and then the 2 flex, Tracy and Kupp.
All right. Similar thought process for me. I'm going the 3 running backs, Kieran, Tracy, Braylon Allen. I'm going to take Lamb and Kupp, and I'm fading all the San Francisco players. So give me Darnell Mooney. I think he's due for a bounce back. So
I don't hate that. I don't hate that either.
It's the Kirk Cousins revenge game. Yes, he's looked bad, but he's going back to his comfort zone in Minnesota. So I think there's a bounce back in order for them. Jay, you want to weigh in on this really quick before we move on?
2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Kyron, Tracy, Braylon. Lamb is a smash. You're playing Lamb. You didn't Kupp. You're playing Kyron, Tracy. Yeah, I think it's Kyron and Tracy for me. Lamb, Kupp, Mooney. Yeah.
Okay. That's about what yeah. All right. You going Patrick Mahomes or Tua Tagovailoa this week, Brandon?
I think you have to go Tua. And because the Chiefs are playing the Chargers. Chargers defense has been really good. The Chiefs have offenses looked rough. So, yeah, I think I would go Tua.
Yeah, I'm there as well. It's Tua for me this week. I know Mahomes has started to be better towards the second half, the back end of the season, but bad matchup for Mahomes and Kansas City. Give me Tua.
Tua is our garbage time fantasy savior. Give me all the Tua Tagovailoa, even over Patrick Mahomes. We're not in the playoffs. We're not in the Super Bowl. This is regular season. This is Tua's time. It's Tua. Another defense question from Austin. You going the Saints or the Titans this week, Brandon?
I go, I guess the Titans. I don't trust anything the Jags do. But the Saints are playing the Giants. I still think the Jaguars have more weapons. So, yeah, I would go Saints defense.
I think somebody's looking at Ryan's rankings when they bring up these questions. They just go in there going, what 2 teams are right next to each other? Because, again, Saints are edging out the Titans by 1 in Ryan's rankings. Who do you trust to throw a pick, Mac Jones or Drew Lock / DeVito?
Mac Jones.
So I'm going the Titans D here.
Yeah, Titans have had a pretty solid defense this year. I know their secondary is kind of falling apart with L'Jarius Sneed out, but they still have a pretty decent pass rush. I'm going to take the Titans here. God only knows which version of Mac Jones is going to show up, so I'll lean with the Titans. All right, from our buddy Joe, you going Cade Otton or David Njoku? Brandon.
I'll go Njoku. He seems to be getting a good target share there, and I would think that the Steelers are going to put Porter Jr. on Jerry Jeudy, so he's probably going to be locked up a little more than when he went crazy against Denver. I don't know what Denver was doing, not putting Surtain on Jeudy the whole game. But, yeah, I would go with Njoku.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Ninjoku. The touchdown upside is just way more than what Kate Otten is putting out there.
That's Chief David Njoku to all of you.
As Kelly would say,
It is.
No, it's good. David Njoku.
Yes, it is David Njoku. Straight up. You want all of that volume. Staying on the Kate Otten train, you going Kate Otten or Kyle Pitts this week, Brandon?
I don't want anything to do with Kyle Pitts. I have to play him in some leagues. He has continually disappointed me. So Kate Otten, this is not even a question for me.
Jack.
I actually like Pitts this week, going up against Minnesota again. The revenge game narrative for Kirk Cousins, but let's play soft or not soft, but let's play to win the game, and that's Kate Otten.
Yeah, the answer is Kate Otten, and it's never Kyle Pitts.
It was Kyle Pitts for like 2 weeks.
For like 2 weeks, exactly.
Finally, we got.
That was like 7 weeks ago.
Okay, that's fair. 7 weeks ago.
All right, from Robbie, at the quarterback position, we'll start there, and then I'll get to the flex spots. You going Matthew Stafford or Russell Wilson, Brandon?
Ugh. This is because I know the Browns defense did not play well last week against Bo Nix, but usually the Steelers Browns games are pretty like low scoring. So I'm gonna go with Stafford.
Jay.
Yeah, I think I want to say Russell Wilson.
Did we lose Jay mid question?
I think so. All I heard was I want to go with Russ. Well, then stop.
There goes that one. Jay, bounce out, come back in. Your internet sucks.
So the two flex spots. Let's see.
Between DeAndre Hopkins, Isaac Rendo, Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I'd go with D Hop and Garendo. We kind of talked about Jennings. We've talked about Jennings. It seems like Jennings is another one that a lot of people are trying to play.
Yep. Agreed. Well, I mean, he's had a couple of good weeks, and
he has.
You know, he's kind of become that de facto wide receiver one for them. For me, I'm gonna go Stafford, D Hop, and Garendo with these questions. Russ has been on fire. I love it. The biggest question mark for me when it comes to the Steelers game, George Pickens is questionable, and it's not even necessarily that he's questionable. It's questionable with a hamstring injury, and
that's not what you want to hear.
Like. Exactly. That's what I don't like. Hamstrings are ticky-tacky. They're tricky. You never know when they're going to act up. And if you take George Pickens out of this equation, there is nothing to love about the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room at all.
No, so it is horrible. I mean, then is wide receiver one Van Jefferson?
Yeah, and then they picked up Mike Williams at the deadline, who they've seldom used.
Oh, I forgot about Mike Williams. Yeah. But yeah, that's not enough because Mike Williams too. He's going to get injured whenever you depend on him.
Mm-hmm. All right, another one from Quincy. He needs 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 3 flex spots. He's got Kieran Williams, Alvin Kamara, Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving, Jacoby Myers, Deebo Samuel, George Pickens, Nick Westbrook-Ikine, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. All right, Brandon, let's set Quincy's lineup here.
Okay, so definitely starting Kyron, Kamara, Bucky, and I'd say Braylon too. And then for the wide receivers, Ikine, and I mean, I would say Pickens if he plays. If he doesn't, then I would do Ikine and Harrison Jr. And then I think there would be one more flex, and I would go with Jacoby Myers.
I'd take Kieran and Alvin Kamara with the running back position. That's easy. Your 2 wide receivers, definitely Jacoby Myers and Nick Westbrook-Ikine. So your 3 flex spots, 100% Bucky Irving. Probably Pickens if he plays. And Braylon Allen would be where I would go. I would avoid Debo.
Yeah.
Valdez Scantling is just the uninspiring version of Nick Westbrook-Akine. So
yeah,
I'm not really throwing him in that matchup. You back, Jay? You're not frozen anymore?
No, I don't know what the hell happened.
That South Georgia weather got you in an icicle, man. What's going on here?
I think that's what it was. Like it froze the internet and just was like, yeah, we're done. But yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, 2 running backs here. It's going to be Bucky and Kyron. I'm sorry, Bucky and Kamara for me. Kamara is like 106 yards from his first ever 1,000-yard rushing season. So that's going to happen tomorrow. Nick Westbrook-Akine, and I actually like the upside of MVS getting another touchdown again this week. And then the 3 flexes. I mean, it's Kyron, Pickens, and Braylon Allen.
I will say the biggest downside to Pickens outside of the hamstring injury is Cleveland gave you the blueprint on how to stop him. His lowest scoring game of the season was 2 weeks ago against Cleveland.
Yeah, that's fair. But I like very much like Nick Westbrook-Akine. I'm only looking for 1 or 2 catches from Pickens and getting in the end zone.
All right. So we've got a whole queue worth of questions, and we're at 56 minutes. So let's try to speed things up a little bit here. Start 1 for Quincy. Malik Neighbors, Isaiah Pacheco, Juwan Jennings, Kareem Hunt. Brandon.
I would go Pacheco.
Yeah, simple answer is Pacheco.
Yeah, I too would go Pacheco here. Neighbors, like I said, he worries me. I think I would probably lean Neighbors if he plays, but Pacheco is definitely the safer option. From Dale, dynasty trade for contender. Great question, since I got 2 dynasty guys here on the show. Would you send Jonathan Taylor and Isaiah Likely for Alvin Kamara and George Kittle? Brandon.
I just don't know how much longer we have Kamara, so I don't know if I would do that.
Listen, this is a contender. If you're the contender and you're getting Kamara and Kittle,
just win, baby.
It's a smash.
I didn't read that part. Yeah, if you're a contender, yeah, if you're trying to win the ship this year, then yeah, and then just figure it out later.
Yep.
Yeah, go get Kamara.
And you know what? Just to add this on there, I would actually ask for, if I'm getting Kamara and Kittle, ask for that 2nd or 3rd. Just do that extra little piece for another backup and use that you're not going to know how long Kamara is going to be here. JT is going to be here for a minute. Isaiah Likely's in his 2nd year.
You're know that Kamara just signed a 2-year extension, right?
They can sign an extension all they want to.
Just saying. All right, another one from Quincy. He's got the Broncos defense and the Titans defense, and he rosters Kieran Williams. Would you drop the Titans defense to get Blake Corum to back up Kieran and just use the Broncos defense? So I'm going to jump ahead and answer this for you. If you're starting one of them this week, you need the Titans because the Broncos are on a bye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's that. But you don't need 2 defenses. So drop one of them, go pick up Corum, pick up the Broncos after the fact.
There you go.
Yes.
Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Perfect.
Definitely.
All right. Jay, you know the right answer here, so follow along. Otherwise, I'm booting you again. Would you start Jalen Waddle over Calvin Ridley or Nick Westbrook-Akine? I'm going to start with you this time, Jay. We're going to test you here.
Oh, you're starting with me? Let me think about this. Hang on 1 second. Let me see. Listen, I'll make this real simple. I'm starting Waddle over Devin Duvernay. That's it. Did I get it right? I'm still here, so I must have got it right.
Brandon.
Yeah. I both the Tennessee wide receivers over Waddle.
Same. All right, from Danny, what do you think about Parker Washington over Nick Westbrook-Akine? Resident Jags fan, Brandon.
So I will say I love Parker Washington. Like when he was coming out of college, I really liked him. I was surprised he fell that far. He had a really good game last week. I think he might fit getting more have a better game than Brian Thomas Jr. because Matt Jones is the check down king, and Parker Washington runs out of the slot. I don't know if he scores a touchdown though, so that's the thing. With Westbrook-Akine, he's like just scoring touchdowns, so that takes up a lot of that. Even though I love Parker Washington, I'd still probably go with Westbrook-Akine.
Yeah, it's Westbrook-Akine. I'm not relying on one week of what we saw from Parker Washington when we can sit here and look at the 8 weeks in a row of Nick Westbrook-Akine.
That is the correct answer. It's Nick Westbrook-Akine. I like the upside of Parker Washington. I think that 2 in a row, right?
No.
I think Parker Washington is ultimately going to take over the Christian Kirk role in this offense when they ultimately move on from Kirk in the offseason because of salary cap. But I think if you need a safe floor, it's probably Washington, maybe. But I would chase the upside with Nick Westbrook-Akine. You're going to feel a lot better chasing the upside with him, truthfully. All right, from J-Stacks, 10-3, 12-person league, first place last week of the regular season. RB room is depleted. Oh, God, you're not kidding. Start 2 out of Kareem Hunt, Kamani Vidal, Tajay Spears, Blake Corum, or Isaiah Davis. Holy shit.
I mean, I think you have to go Hunt and Vidal, or however you say his name, because Spears barely plays, Corum barely plays. I guess technically you would for Isaiah Davis, you just hope that like Braylon gets tired and he runs it in. But yeah, I think you gotta go with the 2 that are getting carries.
Yep, agreed. That running back room is not depleted. It's non-existent.
I mean, look, you're going to get questions like this because of the bye weeks and, of course, all the injuries.
Oh, trust me, I know this week. This week is brutal.
But here's the thing.
These are like my 0 RB dynasty running back rooms right now.
Yes.
This is exactly why we say on a regular week 1 through 12, where we're constantly saying, hey, go get the backup running backs. Mm-hmm. These aren't the backup running backs necessarily. These are the third string.
These are the backups to the backups.
Right. But now, look at the rest of his team. I'm sure it's pretty stacked, so it's okay. But
hey, 10-3, yeah.
10-3. Ouch. This is probably a Saquon Derrick Henry team.
No, because he'd be starting one of them. So,
well, he'd be starting Saquon. Yeah, you're right. Henry's off this week, so that it's definitely a Henry team.
Yeah. This could be a Henry Mixon team. Both of them are.
Oh yeah.
But regardless, I'm gonna play it safe with Hunt. I'm fine going Isaiah Davis over Vidal. Davis found the end zone last week. Vidal really hasn't gotten involved much. I do think Vidal gets a little bit more involved in the passing game this week, but I think they'll rotate with Allen and Davis at the running back position. So I think there's a little bit more upside with Davis. This was from Joe's question earlier about his Josh Allen team going against Burrow, Devon Achane, Isaiah Pacheco, Jamar Chase, Evans. They started Reed and Laporta. They've got the Vikings D and Brandon Aubrey. I mean, if you can survive Brandon Chase or Jamar Chase, excuse me. That's gonna be close, man. That's
a rough one.
Yeah, that's gonna be really close, buddy. All right, Austin, along with all of us, firing up the Will Levis and Calvin Ridley stack. Never thought he'd say that, dude. Right there with you, I promise you. All right, Brian Thomas Jr. or Darnell Mooney this week, Brandon.
I gotta go with Brian Thomas Jr. I just think there's a higher upside. Yeah, I'm going with Brian Thomas Jr. Hey, you can call me a homer, Jags fan, but I mean he's so much more talented. So I'm even though with Matt Jones, and it's not like Kirk Cousins is like playing amazing. So give me Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
If this is a PPR league, it's Mooney. He's just going to get the volume more than Brian Thomas Jr. is. With Mac Jones, it's going to take a 5-yard slant and yak yards for Brian Thomas Jr. this week.
It's BTJ for me. I think Mooney's kind of been on a downswing lately, which kind of sucks because I traded for him in a few dynasty leagues, but Brian Thomas Jr. is the only real legitimate threat in that Jaguars passing offense. From Michael, Tua or Mahomes? I know we answered that one earlier. It's Tua. Would you go Darnell Mooney or Brandon Cooks in a PPR league? Brandon.
Yeah, I would go Mooney. He's been more involved. I think even in Brandon Cook's productive game, he only had 2 catches, but one was a touchdown. I'm not banking on that with Cooper Rush. So give me Mooney.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you when you look at what he actually had 7 targets last week, 3 catches, a total of 16 yards for Brandon Cooks. So it's Darnell Mooney for me.
Yeah, Mooney hasn't been great of late either, but it's Darnell Mooney for me. Cooks does have a good matchup this week against the trash Bengals secondary. It's on Monday night. Bengals do have a pretty decent pass rush, and by that I mean Trey Hendrickson. And the Cowboys' offensive line has kind of been pretty shitty. So I don't know how much wiggle room that's going to lend itself for Brandon Cooks. So I think I would go Darnell Mooney here. All right. Which 2 are you starting? Better yet, who are you sitting between Devonta Smith, DeAndre Hopkins, or Adam Thielen? Brandon.
I guess I'm sitting Adam Thielen. I just wouldn't trust that this week. I mean, I don't necessarily would trust that any week.
Yeah, it's Thielen for me going up against that Philly D. I know Devontae Smith's just coming back, but they're good. I believe Philly's going to try to get him involved in early and often.
I don't know about early and often, but Dallas Goedert being put on IR in the middle of this show, it's going to lend itself to more targets for Devonta Smith.
That sucks a lot.
Grant Calcaterra, baby. Grant Calcaterra.
I do have him rostered in a bunch of my dynasty leagues. So
you're the reason that he's on IR? Thanks for that, asshole. Yeah, I'm not playing Adam Thielen this week. Cooper DeJean, if he can drop Derrick Henry, he can drop a 34-year-old Adam Thielen. I'm not that worried about it. If you needed to pick up somebody, who would you drop between Hopkins, Thielen, or Rachaad White? Brandon.
Oh, if you need to drop one of them?
Yeah, just to pick up a flyer.
Yeah, I would definitely drop Thielen.
Okay. Jay.
Yeah, it's Thielen here.
Yeah, it's Thielen for me as well. I hate dropping running backs, even ones that I hate. I just wouldn't roster them, but
I was going to ask you, it's going to be hard for you to drop Rachaad White with those.
Oh man, I had one dynasty, the only dynasty league where I actually had Rachaad White, and somebody sent me a trade where I got a 2nd-round pick for Rachaad White. I broke my phone hitting accept.
Right to Verizon.
Yeah. Well, you starting the Bills defense, Saints defense, or the 49ers defense this week, Brandon?
Saints, because we've talked about them against the Giants and whatever quarterback they're throwing out there. Malik Neighbors, even if he plays, they don't consistently get him the ball anyway.
No Nick Bosa, which really doesn't matter. I think it's going to be San Francisco for me going up against Chicago. I get Caleb Williams is a good player, but he's still a rookie. Yeah, give me San Francisco here.
San Francisco's defense is terrible. I want nothing to do with them.
You want nothing to do with anything in San Francisco. You don't
want because their fans are a
a
bunch of crybaby bitches. No offense to any San Francisco 49ers fans in the chat. I love y'all. But no, it's I'm gonna take the Saints here against Drew Lock. Stafford at least gets rid of the ball quickly. I don't know how many sacks the Bills are really going to be able to stack up. But I want to bring this up from Jay Stacks when we were talking about his team with no running backs. He's got Jalen Hurts, Brian Robinson Jr., Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Jamison Williams, Tucker Kraft, Rice on IR, J.K. Dobbins on IR. So B-Rob's missed a ton of time on a bye. J.K. obviously on IR. So drafted horrible at running back, but look, dude, you got Jamar Chase and Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. You're good. Don't even sweat it. All right. Where are we at? From Harry. With Jaden Daniels on a bye, which QB you rolling with? Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Will Levis, Kirko Chains, or Geno Smith? Brandon.
I mean, this is crazy, but I'm going with Will Levis against that Jaguars defense.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this a couple of times today on how bad the Jags defense is and how good the wide receiver room has stepped up for Levis. Out of this group, it's Levis for me as well.
I think Levis definitely offers the most upside. Geno was one of my downside picks on Wednesdays, no pun intended. Kyler's been uninspiring. Russ scares me if Pickens is really limited with that hamstring injury. I so badly want to believe in Kirk Cousins, and I do think he does have a good game, but I still think the upside lies with Will Levis here. I would be very fine going with that. And also, if you listen on Wednesdays, Will Levis is Ryan's Stream of the Week at quarterback, and he's been absolutely crushing those picks. So take that for what you will. Woods girl, half-point PPR. She needs a flex. You going Khalil Shakir, Keenan Allen, or Nick Westbrook Akini Bikini? I love our nicknames. They're fun. Brandon, who you got?
I would like to say Keenan, but I think I'm still going to go Westbrook Akini Bikini. Jad's defense, I mean, we keep on talking about it. They are horrid. I don't know why I still watch the games, but I do. So, yeah, I would go with him.
Support your team through thick and thin, Brandon. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Don't tell him how to be a fan, Jay.
Okay, speaking from experience, that's how I did it with the Bucks, and I still do it on a rough week-to-week basis. I refuse to answer this question because Woods Girl was not here 5 hours before the show, putting her comment in like she was on Wednesday. I'm taking full offense to that, so I'm saying sit all of them. No, it's Nick Westbrook Akine.
Yeah, I want to lean Keenan Allen just because he's been consistent, really, in this offense for the last month or so. But again, like to me, I guess it just depends on, do I feel like I need to chase upside or can I play it safe? Keenan's the safer option. Westbrook is very much the high upside play here for me.
Yeah, I think that goes to what the rest of the team looks like as far as what do you have to have.
Yeah, or like, did you go against, Josh Jacobs, right? Like if you played him, then yeah, fire up Nick Westbrook Akine, right? So, chase the upside. All right, another one from Woods Girl. Do either of you have thoughts on the Lions defense from Thursday night? She's thinking about dropping them for rest of season because of all the injuries that they've compiled. Would you try to get the Chargers defense or the Cowboys defense? They also have the Broncos. So, Woods Girl, you've been following us for a long time. You should know we don't play defenses rest of season. We stream them week to week. Lions have already played Thursday, so you don't have to worry about dropping them. The Broncos can probably get you by, but there's probably better matchups out there. Cowboys defense can't stop the run. Chargers defense can't stop the pass. Brandon, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't really care. Like for defenses, I just look week to week. I don't really look to the future very often.
Yeah, I think you if you had the lines, you've already played them. So this question is for next week. And what I would recommend is wait till Wednesday and find out who Ryan's Stream of the Week is, because that's what I do.
Likewise, that is what I do as well. All right, from Joe. Yeah, I think you and a bunch of other people did not prep well for week 14 buys, but it also doesn't help that how many yes, Jay, we get it. You played best ball and you prepared for this, blah, blah, blah. Shut up.
It's what you're supposed to do. Chuck me and Stacy out on Tuesdays in the off season, and you will see who has as soon as the schedule is released, how we build a best ball team for correlation for these week 14, 15, 16, and 17, getting into the championships and trying to win some money. But week 14 has been a ball buster for the last couple weeks or last.
Well, and it also doesn't help that like a lot of these teams that are on bye have very productive players.
Cool.
like that's the other side of it. And you just never really know how a season is going to shake out. Like we all thought Derrick Henry would be good. I didn't think any of us thought he would be this good. Same thing with Joe Mixon. We knew he'd be good. We didn't think he'd be this good. Jaden Daniels, we knew he'd be good. We didn't think he'd be this good. You know what I mean? Like Bo Nix shot out of a cannon. Like who would have thought fantasy managers would be relying on Bo Nix as a starting quarterback? You know what I mean? Like
not me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like week 14, you can sit here and try to prepare for it, and then everything goes haywire. So not really fretting that much. But Bills defense or Tampa defense, I think we can all agree it's probably the Bills defense. Brandon?
Yes, I agree. Bills defense.
Yeah, you're not playing that defense right there at all. It's not good.
Aiden O'Connell about to throw 50 pass attempts against the Bucs defense.
And if he throws 50, he's probably going to get 3 of them picked off. But
I think that's giving your secondary way too much credit because the only good one in that secondary is Antoine Winfield.
And that's who will pick them off. And Kalijah Kancey will probably pick one off up on the line. But that's beside the point because if they pick off 3 interceptions, they've allowed 5 touchdowns. So
I hope they're all to Brock Bowers.
Yes.
And Jacoby.
Let's go. All right. Last question from Joe. Would you go Devonta Smith over any of the Tennessee wide receivers? Because apparently we brought it up. Brandon.
Ugh. I would not go over Calvin Ridley. Actually, no. I'd take the Tennessee receivers. I don't think the Eagles are going to have to pass the ball that much against the Panthers. And the Jets, I mean, we just keep on saying the Jets defense is horrid. Horrible. I'll say it one more time. Horrible.
Facts.
We need the Charles Barkley drop there.
Yes.
Terrible. The answer is Tennessee's wide receivers. Again, like Brandon said, this is going to be at least for the first half, it's going to be probably AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley for 99% of the game.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it. The Eagles passing offense is just not high volume right now. They're running the football so well. They just don't need to throw it, plain and simple. Jalen Hurts, I believe, has 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions on the whole season, something along those lines, or since week 6 or something like that. He's, great ball security. It looks back to 2022 when we went to the Super Bowl. They don't need to throw it because Saquon Barkley's doing his damn thing on the ground. So that's a lot of the reason why I'm down on Devonta Smith. It's not about the talent. It's just about the offense right now. Saquon's tearing it up. The moment that, God forbid, anything happens to Saquon, yeah, you're going to fire up Devonta Smith, but not right now. So, all right, boys, that'll do it. Brandon, appreciate you for joining us for a little over 75 minutes today. Let everybody know where they can find you and everything that you're working on.
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at HayB3. We're at the league winners. We put out the betting article either Friday or Saturday. When I decide I'm not too sad, I will write about the Jads preview each week. DLF, I have, every week we have Cornerstone Report, which is this year's rookies, last year's rookies, next year's rookies. I do a little headlines for that, and I have a Dynasty Targets article that should be dropping pretty soon for DLF.
Jay?
You can find me right here on Club Fantasy. Monday mornings, we do Monday's Anxiety. And then Thursday, the Dynasty After Party show with me and Joel. So I can't wait to chop it up with you and Ryan Monday morning and get all this bitching session done for the last 14 weeks and be ready for these playoffs.
Monday morning is our therapy session.
It is.
So come and join us to vent, to lash out, to complain, whole 9 yards, all of it. We are here for the people. It is what we do, baby. It's what we do. All right. This has been Start Sit, different day, answering all of your week 14 Start Sit questions. Be sure to follow Club Fantasy on Twitter at Club Fantasy FFL. We have a graphic that we drop every Sunday morning, so you can get any of your last-minute lineup decision questions in. We're more than happy to help. Our team of experts will chime in and help you guys out because that's what we do. Follow me at the One Hudsonian on across the socials. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Club Fantasy YouTube channel. That's at Club Fantasy FFL. And of course, our sister site at women_of_FF, and the URL womenoffantasyfootball.com. If you play DFS, check out Austin's cash game article that just dropped today over on the website, clubfantasyffl.com. That'll do it, boys. Until next week, may week 14 be everything that you desire. And let's get in the playoffs, baby. Peace out.